Good day, fish tankers. We are on the silly season, so how about a nice deep red, that Santa Claus and tree decoration, Christmassy red fish that is also peaceful and a great community fish and don't require huge tanks and look great in a planted tank. I'm talking, of course, about the Cherry Barb. Want to find out how to keep them? Then stick around and find out. Now, when we think barbs, we think things like tiger barbs, boisterous, semi-aggressive, fin nippy kind of fish. And that's not really what cherry barbs are, because these tiger barbs aren't always great community fish. But cherry barbs are peaceful and they're also a little bit smaller. The thing is, in a dealer's tank like you see here, they're sort of bland and they're small and they don't come into their colors yet. There are albino varieties and long fin varieties. I prefer the more original cherry barb variety, but if you see them in the dealer's tank, you got to look really close to see the difference between the males and the females, because they all look sort of washed out because they're still small and they are fish that want to be in at least a small school, and they like planted tanks with lots of refuges and hiding places where they can go, and then they show themselves more and they also color up way better. And they can go with your standard fare of tank mates. They're great with tetras, guppies. I've even had them with angelfish and they didn't fin up. So it makes for a great community fish, and once you put them in a planted tank and they grow out, you can see here these deep red males, that lovely color that they have. They're very easy to distinguish between the sexes because you can see those are males, and then right in front, much bigger, nice and fat with the eggs, are the females that are more sort of a golden brownish mottled color, and they all have that stripe running down the length of their body. So once they're colored up, you can clearly see the difference between the sexes. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, please take the time out quickly to hit that thumbs up button, the like button. I will greatly appreciate that. Then what tank size do you need for these fish? Well, I've kept them in 1.5 foot 10-gallon tanks before, but I would say at least 2 foot 15 gallons is better. Bigger is always better in fish keeping as far as tank size is concerned. And then you got to get your ratio between the sexes right as well. You need at least one female for every male. Now you can have a single male, but you shouldn't have two males, I think, because just like tetras, they spar a little bit with each other. And I have 3 males in this tank, and I think that's a golden number because no dominance is established. Water quality, obviously it needs to be of high quality. No nitrite or ammonia will be tolerated, but the characteristics aren't that important, anywhere from pH 6 to 8. They prefer softer, more acidic water, but harder alkaline water will be tolerated. That will be fine. And then they like heavily planted tanks, as I've mentioned. They like some mild flow, but not absolute river. But they are not fussy in that respect. As far as temperature, they come from Sri Lanka, where they have monsoons, so they can do anything from 22 to 27 degrees Celsius. They'll be fine. No fuss there, and a good quality food. Mine gets flake food, they get frozen food like brine shrimp and bloodworms and cyclops, and heavily planted tanks. That's what they like. Then the colors really pop out. They're a barb, so they are from the family Cyprinidae. They have 2 tiny little barbels on the side of the mouth. They're part of a carp family, like koi, for instance. And they're easily distinguishable like that. Very active little fish. Guys, also please share this among your fishy social media groups if it's so allowed, or in among your friends. And then these have started a breeding colony in my tank, and you'll see them jumping into the Soeswasser tank, and there they come out. They are egg scatterers, so they'll scatter the eggs in thick plants and they'll eat the eggs. But if you have a heavily planted tank, you'll see there's a tiny little fry that survived, and there's a baby that's grown a little bit further. So there's plenty of fish swimming around in this tank that's been born there. There you can see there's another tiny little baby popping up there. In and among the adults, they do survive. And what I find helps with the babies, I also feed a bit of frozen cyclops into the corner of a tank, and the youngsters like to eat that. And there you'll see this one below is a bit smaller. That's a juvenile that was also born in this tank. And that's something that I find really satisfying. These cherry barbs that have a little breeding colony all on their own, along with the diamond tetras that also breed out here. There you see the mama, the big mama, and there's a smaller juvenile female over there. And there's the males swimming away again. And they make for such a beautiful display and great community fish. Guys, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps the channel. And you can clearly see the difference between the male at the bottom and the two females on top. I started with 3 females and 3 males, and now I think we have I don't know how many, because a youngster keeps on popping up, probably around 10 of them in the tank at the moment. Active little fish. Underrated because they don't display that great in the dealer's tank, but I think definitely worth a look for your smaller sort of community tanks. A small fish that's just bigger than a nano fish reach about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. So not nano fish. I've seen them kept with shrimp like Amano shrimps, but they're not really shrimp safe. Your shrimps will at the very least stop breeding, or the smaller shrimps will disappear. But that is it from me, guys. I hope you're enjoying the start of a festive season, and until I see you guys again, take good care of our domestic denizens of the deep.